Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock.
My name is Danny.
And we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Chilling like a villain, man. How are you?
Well, this episode is brought to you by Celsius, unbelievably known as a great drink that you need at 8 o'clock at night to keep you up so that you can leave the house after recording a podcast to go Uber so that you can at least have some alone time for a while after your kids drive you nuts all day.
Yeah, I've never heard of Celsius. So,
oh, really?
Other than the temperature, yeah,
no,
neat. Obviously, a caffeine drink, energy drink.
It is an energy drink. However, it is a healthy energy drink because it doesn't have like all the sugar that you get like in a Monster or, one of those big cans. It's just a little skinny 12-ounce can. It's actually sort of like almost like a seltzer kind of, but tastes way better. And it also burns fat. So I'm all about that.
All right. Sure.
It's helped me. Corey and I, we both have lost weight since we started drinking it. So along with also changing other stuff. So yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Interesting thing. You said Celsius. I'm like, dang straight, because it is cold outside. But
yeah, I was gonna
mind.
say, baby, it's cold outside.
It is currently 1 Fahrenheit, but still.
Oh my gosh. Oh
yeah.
My gosh. Yeah.
It's snow's coming in. Gonna have a blizzard evidently by the end of the week. Another couple days, blizzard blowing in, and hopefully it'll be gone for Christmas. So the roads won't be, the interstate won't be shut down. Which is
that's right. We did talk about that.
They rebuilt a bridge here in town. They took all spring and summer to do it, and they finally got it done just a couple of weeks before the snow started coming in, and it was amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's so much better now. And they've got the little closure gates. I'm like, I just can't. I mean, I get it. I absolutely get it.
Yeah.
But I just don't realize it. So yeah, we'll see.
It's going to be, sounds like an interesting time. I know my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and niece are supposed to make it here tomorrow just in time for winter to unleash its
Yeah,
cold finger on everybody. So
right under the wire.
yeah, well, and they live in Illinois, so it could be an interesting drive for them. I mean,
Hmm.
mainly cold, probably more than anything, but still. I'm just hoping that we don't lose power. Like that's my biggest
Hmm.
concern usually. So um I don't know. We'll see. It's supposed to get pretty chilly here too. So, but we're far enough south. I see where like all the kind of like the blizzardy weather is north of us. So we might get the white Christmas without all the craziness. But we've still, oh yeah. So we have packages arriving like daily at our house. It's
Yeah.
on Sunday, on Sunday, no joke. I've never seen this before, but the Amazon driver, like he stopped, he was in his van forever. I had left to go somewhere, I forget where I went, and Corey sends me a picture and she's like, look what the Amazon driver brought. And it was this massive bin that was like up to her knees and probably like 3 feet wide. And it was just full of like boxes.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the beginning of it rolling in, but that was because like she had gotten her bonus and we like just started like ordering everything so that it would
Hmm.
get here on time. But
Oh yeah. We yeah, we've done much the same.
yeah,
We just every night we leave the porch light on.
yep.
And I'm like, oh, he'll get here when he gets here and we'll pick it up. And I can't imagine having to work that late. And it's got to be like 4 or 5 hours after the sun has gone down
Oh yeah.
and in the snow and in the cold and everything else. So I told Marnie, I want to get a little thing and put out like something like a drink for them or something. And she's like, I don't know how that would work. And I said, I don't either. Maybe a cooler. And she goes,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
it's not, no, it'll still freeze here.
Oh, well,
It's one. And the low tonight is projected to be negative 11. And
yeah,
granted, I
okay.
wouldn't leave it out overnight, but still, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, well, we'll
I
just,
say I have there's a gentleman here in our neighborhood who we're friends with, and he's always got a cooler out with like bottles of water and stuff for delivery people with a sign and everything like that. Like sometimes he's got like chips or snack bars or something like that
mhm,
out there as well for them, that kind of deal. So yeah,
a
I
bottle
mean,
to pee in. Yeah.
right? No kidding. The way they drive have to drive everywhere. Feel bad for them sometimes. Like my goodness.
Yeah, that's not the job. I think, yeah, there needs to be three people for every one person doing that job. That has got to be the most demanding job this time of year, other than retail, which is its own animal. There's no fighting retail. Retail
Yeah.
at Christmas time, it's got to be the worst. But
I tend to see UPS with two people in the truck at all times, and it's always like a veteran and then like a newbie, like every time. And it's
yeah.
like this is the time where it's like, all right, like bring in all the newbies and put them with a veteran and be like, here's what it's like when it's crazy out here. Like
Hmm.
just so you're aware, because then probably the next year they're going to be in that situation with somebody else. And I think that that's actually a really good business policy to, you know, get people acclimated to just how crazy their job can be.
Hmm. So today is the 20th. So are you ready for Christmas?
Yeah, I'd say
Huh?
I'm pretty well ready. I mean, I've got some grocery shopping stuff still to do, but I went to Costco today. So that was cool. Actually, I got a really cool bottle of rye that's
Hmm.
super kind of rare actually. Uh so me and David McMillan are gonna split that because it's like a $60 bottle. And he's like, I want to try it, but he's like, I don't want to spend $60 on my own bottle. And I'm like, all right, I'll split it with you. So got that. I got a bottle of Jack Daniels Bonded, which is a new product that they just released recently.
Hmm.
And I almost pulled the trigger on an Ardbeg. Is that how you say it? Scotch? I don't,
Ardbeg doesn't ring a
I don't,
bell. How's it
oh,
spelled?
what's the name on it? Hold on, let me look at my pictures really quick because I can tell you it it was a very interesting.
Aberlour,
No,
maybe?
Ardbeg, Ardbeg. It's a
Nope.
it's a Scotch that I've seen around, but they had it's Ardbeg and OA or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, they had a like a barbecued smoker like variant of it or whatever there. I didn't get that, And they also had the 12-year blended Scotch that looked appealing too. But anyway, I got those 2 bottles.
The bottle for Ardbeg does kind of
look familiar.
So
it's usually on the shelves. I mean, I've seen it quite a bit.
Let me know if it tastes exactly like grass.
Well, I didn't actually buy it, so I just.
Oh, you
I
didn't?
just,
Okay.
No, that was the one I thought it was neat, but I didn't buy it. But that's okay. But no, I'm pretty much ready. I've got a little bit of shopping to do at Aldi just for like staple items and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've actually been able to go and purchase some items for Corey without her like knowing what they are, because I didn't have to buy them on Amazon. So, but she's bought some things for me on Amazon. Actually, one thing that I bought myself yesterday was the National At Home Dad Network cycling kit.
Yeah, cool.
So I got the bibs and the jersey for that, which I'm super pumped about that because that's got the logo. It's
it looks really cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
all the
don't
cool stuff.
cycle, so I'm not going to buy one. And that's
sure
just not my bag, baby. But at the same time, looking at it, I'm like, man, I kind of want that. I mean, because it just looks really cool. I think I just like to wear it around. But then people are like, hey, do you bike? I'm like, never. Look at me, never bike. No,
I can't wait to wear it out on the trail, man. Seriously,
yeah.
It's going to be cool. So, but yeah, so I got that all situated. There's some things that were bought on Amazon that they're going to get wrapped anyways and open kind of deal, which it'll be fine. That'll be this. But yeah, it's just going to be a good time. What about you, man? You are you guys ready? I mean, you got a bunch of kids to buy for and all that.
I still have things to wrap and put under the tree, and I have things that are still
nothing's wrapped.
Well, I went the other thing about having a lot of kids is you get them to help you, right? So I got them to come in and say, okay, I want you to help me wrap your present. And that, because I got them each to get their mom a gift. I didn't actually get them really. They, I got 2 of them, but the other 2 were like, yeah, I want to get mom something too. I'm like, I love you.
Awesome.
So so I got them to help me wrapping, and that was,
there you go.
Definitely needed a drink after that. That's fine. But yeah, so
drinking while it's going on.
I've been doing a little at a time, and I have all my stuff. I can pick up gifts for people, especially like my wife and the kids. They're easy. I mean, I'm with them all day, every day, practically. So I know what they like and what they don't like. And I was completely wrong though for Lizzie. She's 8.
I saw that post.
He said, Dad, why do people keep getting me pink stuff and unicorns? I'm like, well, because you love pink stuff and unicorns. Because I bought her a ski hoodie, and it was pink because it was pink, and I'm like, hey, I get that. So I got her the pink one. Got her brother the black one. And she's like, yeah, I don't like pink or unicorns really. I like blue and kitties. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. It's like 10 days before Christmas. You don't get to change your mind at this point.
Wait, how old is she?
8.
Okay. So maybe there's something in the water with that, because Ruby did the same kind of thing to me today when we were at Costco. I bought her a new what was it? I bought her a new winter coat, and it was in sort of like a purple color, which has been kind of her color for the past couple of years. And she was totally cool with it. So we're at Costco, and she sees the coats, and of course, I'm at a different Costco than the one I bought the coat at. And they've got a like teal blue.
Mm-hmm.
And she's all like, oh, I didn't know that they had it in this color. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I love teal blue. It's like my favorite color. I'm like, this is a memo I am just getting across the desk right now.
Right.
Breaking news.
Since when?
Yeah. And I'm just like, I was like, you've never in my entire, like, you've not mentioned that color.
Not even one time.
Not even once.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I love that color. And I'm just like it's funny. Like, we're having this like loud conversation in the aisle, and there are people walking around, and you could just see like the few of them were just like caught it, were just dying laughing as they like strolled by.
Yep. Especially the parents.
Oh, yeah.
Because parents like, yeah, welcome to it, man. And I couldn't believe it. But I mean, you picked out stuff when we were doing, I just kind of went on Amazon and kind of looked around, and she came in and I'm like, okay, oh, yeah. And she said, oh, I love that. And I love that. And I'm like, yeah, I know you do, but I'm not going to tell you that I'm buying you these things, whatever. um, and she was fine with it. And I think that's what it'll be. She'll be fine,
Right.
but she's changed now and she wants, she's maturing and she wants blue and
Yeah.
kitties. Man, all right, cool. But
So when it comes to the animals, I'm good there. Like, Ruby likes, she does like cats. She does like, she likes dragons. She likes unicorns,
mhm.
um, all that kind of stuff. So, definitely that hasn't changed, which is good. But the color, like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of color and girls and just that whole kind of thing, I guess. I'm trying to figure out a way to transition this, but this week, the other day, actually, I know that you're on the admin team pretty heavily in the Facebook group and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love it when I get on Facebook and I scroll through and I just come upon the either poke the bear or dumpster fire that is a comment that has been made in the Facebook group, and you're like, oh dear child, like why? And then I feel really bad because I'm just like, I don't even want to open up Slack and even look at what the admins are going with right now because I just don't have time to
Yeah.
get involved in that drama.
Yeah, that's not there. That's why we have a team. But yeah,
Right.
you know what? It happens so rarely, especially with as large of an organization as we have.
Oh,
We
sure.
generally will go, and one of the members actually commented, like, yeah, it's almost like once a year, some person will just pop up and be completely asinine. They didn't say that,
They
but
just
completely off the
they
right.
weed themselves out. They just
Right,
weed themselves out. It's like it's
right.
December. Everybody's on break. Hey, I've got a little bit of extra time in the bathroom. Let's
Hmm.
go see what I can, basically keyboard
Yeah,
captain myself into.
troll gonna troll. That's just how it
But
is.
but I will say this. The topic that was uh pointed out in in the comment, to me, I felt like had some, like, it could have gone to like an actual like good conversation for some for the most part, because the original poster was talking about feminism and the is the National at Home Dad Network, like, I guess, like a proponent of feminism. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, I guess, but like kind of that whole deal. And to me, like, there was I saw conversations in there about like toxic masculinity and what does it mean to be manly and different things along those lines. And
Hmm.
for me, like, anytime that kind of stuff comes up, I'm just like, I, for the most part, like, I have a hard time, I guess, like, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for here is, but like feeling one side or the other on it, because I feel like I'm like right in the middle. Like, I have a feminine side to me in different avenues, and then I have like a masculine side to me in other ways. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, when someone's like, "Oh, you're feminine or whatever," I'm just like, I don't know. Like, so the whole thing, like, what was it to
Yeah.
you? Like, where did that?
Well,
You know,
let me just back up a little bit. So,
yeah, do that because
what is,
I'm butchering this.
how do you define feminism? How do you define feminism? Because what you said is not, is because if you're a more feminine person, you're effeminate, what have you, that's your, how you are seen, or that's your, what you
Sure.
look like, let's say, as opposed to more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely different from feminism.
Okay.
To be effeminate or to be, yeah, feminist is just too, because feminism itself is the belief really that all sexes should be treated equally, and that's economically, that's socially, that's in all ways. If you're male or female, you still get the same. And even, especially like financially,
Right.
we've talked, but the wage gap has been a thing for a very long time. So feminism is really just that understanding that both sexes, or all sexes really, because enemies or what have you, are the same.
I guess
We
for me,
talked.
like, okay, so hearing that, one, okay, I'm 42 and I feel like in some ways, like, I'm just sort of like catching this in a lot of ways. But to me, like, I guess that's just a concept that, like, it just makes sense, but the title for it doesn't make sense to me in a way,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense. So to me, like, I totally agree. Like, there should be equal parts, like
Mm-hmm.
equality across the board type of deal. The word feminism to me, like, sort of throws that in a different direction. And I guess like that comes just down to the fact that for the most part, it is seen that males kind of control everything, I guess.
Mm-hmm. The
Um,
patriarchy.
right. But I don't know. I think it's just the fact that, like, even though I grew up in like a rural area, it didn't seem like I saw that very often. Like, I saw as many women as I did men doing the same things pretty
Mm-hmm.
regularly. Farming, like
Yeah.
factory workers, everything, like
Hunting,
everybody.
fishing, driving a truck, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
all that
Tractors. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, so I that's where I guess that's where the struggle for me comes into it. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously people that live in different parts of the country experience different things in that, and maybe even, whatever it is. But yeah, that was just hard for me because I'm just like,
It's,
I, I,
I don't think it's really where you live. It's the fact that you're a man. I mean, that's the,
that's my down. So because I was born a man, like, immediately, like, I'm going to be seen as negative, even though, like,
no,
I'm
it's not
looking out.
negative. No, it's, you said that you don't see these things. What you saw was with everybody's kind of treated equally already. We all did kind of the same things.
Uh-huh.
You see that because you're a man and you're a
Right.
part of the patriarchy. And just like we talk about white privilege, right? Being the fact that you have, or there's a lot of it, but you have the ability to look at it as a man, and you're seeing things that look fine. But if you were a woman, things would look different. Simply, let's go back to the wage gap. That's a great example. Women make on an average, I think it's 73%, 73 cents to every dollar that a man makes in the same job. And even in the top 10 jobs where women have those jobs, they're still making less money than their male counterparts. So it's not something that you and I would see directly because it's never affected us, you know, and it's not something that's so overt that you see like people, running down the streets trying to tar and feather women because they're women. That's not it. It's the systemic part of it. It's the social and political and economic quality of life is not the same. Maybe quality is not the right word, but the equality is not there. So being a man, well, like as an example, I had Marnie said this to me, I don't know, 15 years ago. She said, have you ever walked down a city street or through a dark parking lot or just an empty parking lot and thought you might get raped? And I said, no. Why would I do that? And she said, women do that all the time. They're taught to watch out for themselves because they have been placed in a place where they will be victimized. All right. Now that's a big thing as opposed to what we're talking about really, but it's the reality of my experience has never been anything like what my wife's was. It's the same as people of color don't have the same experience as I do as a white man, as a white person. Right. So talking about what feminism is, and are we a feminist organization? We're not looking, there are people that will put that spin on it. That'll say, well, yeah, it's because like a lot of that guy's comments that, he's been removed from the group and can't come back forever, by the way. So, but someone that had posted these things and said, basically, people are getting upset with what he's saying. And and he's like, sit down, Karen, or shut up. Or
Yeah.
we found the mom in the group, found the mom that, infiltrated the group. And it was just very, well, the word is toxic.
Oh yeah.
It was just this idea that feminism means that women are better than men, or women should be in charge, or women should take over. That's not it at all either. And it doesn't mean that if you are a feminist that you think you're less than women, or that you want women to dominate you in some way, or you want women to be in power over you some way, or you want to give up being a man or being male or being, a manly man, whatever you fall into for those things, to a woman at all. The roles that we have as the primary caretaker in our family, again, and we've talked about this very recently with Dr. Kate Mangino, where we don't define our roles in the house as what is a motherly role and what is a fatherly role.
Right.
Or what is a man's role or what is a woman's role. This isn't a thing that you look at it. It's much more about, well, I'm doing this job, and that's what it is. And if that's, she used the phrase several times about the cognitive labor of a relationship and a family, and the person that schedules the stuff for the kids, typically that's something that men don't step into. They still let the other partner, or if it's a dual partnership, then it's one or the other one decide, you do all of that stuff and I don't even touch it. And that's kind of how, if you look back, especially let's say the 50s,
right?
Feminism was not very big in the 50s, and there were a lot of men who were, and this has been for centuries, have thought, no, this is cool. I'm good with being the top dog here. I don't need to give them anything. I can put them down and I can keep them down. So why don't I?
Yeah.
So feminism is much more about finding the equality of the sexes, not being effeminate and not being toxic and not saying that women are better than men at all.
So, yeah. I can see why. I see where you're coming from there. And two, like, it's the same thing with the conversations that are going around about like, well, where are all the like 30 to 45-year-old men kind of deal in the workforce, and how they're out and like all the, and they're women that are coming into the workforce kind of deal, and people are kind of all up in arms about that in different ways. And it's like, well, if that's what works best for them, like, then that's what works best for them. Like, people are throwing a big, I don't know, throwing a big fit about it basically, which I think is ridiculous.
Well, men typically, but I shouldn't say typically, there are a lot of people, men and women, who believe that a woman's place is in the home. She can have a job, but she needs to be taking care of the family too, and the home. There's so many women that I've met in my life that are working 40-hour a week, 50-hour a week, just like their husband or their partner.
Yeah.
And they're the one still responsible for making dinner every night. They're the one responsible for taking care of the kids, or getting the kids to their activities, or scheduling the sports, or scheduling, the band practice or whatever. And it's a huge slap in the face, really, to a lot of people who are far more capable at doing things outside the home than they are inside, and yet they're required basically by society or culture to be the person also that makes the dinner and makes the lunches, and does all of those things that we have always thought of as, well, this is a mom's job, and it's still that way for a lot of people.
No, you're not wrong there. I mean, it's one of those deals where, even in the school systems, they want to be progressive, but at the same time too, like, they want there to be like a mom in the classroom, class mom, that type of deal. And like I see that all the time. Our school, especially, like, oh, we want dads to be more involved or whatever, but you don't see any teachers asking dads to like be the class dad. They immediately, like, all they mention is class mom type of stuff. And then, because I'm involved at our school, like, I'm there and I'm doing stuff. And even then people are like, whoa, like, they're just so surprised that there's a dad there. And it's like, what is it? Like, I'm a parent, like,
you're inspiring.
Like, what?
I wish my husband. No,
I just want to throw up in your hat.
Literally, exactly. I'm literally just doing the same thing that parents have been doing for generations.
Right.
So
I think I had a mom who said something like that one time to me, and I was just like, I'm not special. Like, my wife and I, we parent, in a way that works best for us, and like, I am doing my job as a parent. Like, like, I do not get a gold star for that at all.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not. Yeah. Like, and you looking at me as if I'm some sort of like hero or whatever. Like, I was like, that speaks volumes to me that you have a breakdown of communication in your marriage with your spouse about what
Yeah.
parenting looks like. And I think that's the biggest, one of the biggest issues that I see is this, like you were talking about, where, if both parents are working, and then it's still required that, the mom is seen as the person who has to basically like wrangle the kids around while dad, isn't doing his part because, oh, he worked 40 hours and
Yeah.
he's tired, where it's like, it's total bullshit. Like, it's just ridiculous. And
Oh
honestly,
yeah.
like, these dads that are in that situation, it's shameful, because they are on that like stereotypical like lazy boy recliner, with a
Mm-hmm.
beer and give me my TV dinner. And it's
Yeah.
like wake up. And that's the philosophy in this world, not just this country, but in this world, that is keeping us from, being able to see that there is a lack of equality
Mm-hmm.
in that realm. And so, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I that was for me growing up in our house. That was not how it worked. Like, my dad took us place. He would.
Mm-hmm.
They both worked hard. They still work hard. Actually, my dad's a truck driver. My mom's a school bus driver, for crying out loud. And they, like, they still cart people all over the place. But anyway, like, you know, whoever was home took kids or cooked or did laundry or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. And, based on the day, you never know who was doing what kind of deal. But I grew up
Mm-hmm.
realizing, like, okay, when I get married, like, it's not a you do this, you do that. It's a, hey, we're a team type
Yeah.
situation. And, that's how things worked out. And so, yeah, so I guess that's why I say it's kind of hard. Like, I have a hard time with, like, I see where you're coming from with the feminism side of things and stuff like that. Um, but at the same time, like, I struggle with people getting irate in different ways. But I saw actually a TikTok. It was very interesting, where somebody was asking a college student about feminism, and she was talking about how she was upset that, males have all this power and all this privilege and all this stuff. And then they were asked specifically, can you name a specific like privilege or something like that? And they had absolutely nothing to say for it. And I'm just like, okay, I have a hard time. Like, if you hold the position that you're upset that that's the case, then you should have examples to be able to back up that stance.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I 100% am a feminist. And I do believe that, for lack of a better word, the patriarchy is and has been in power in our culture, in our humanity forever, since the cave paintings. I mean, that's a great example, because every time we talk about a cave painting, oh, we see this, and this is what the caveman did, and this is what the caveman, drew, and this draw, and this is, well, what were the women doing at that time?
Sure.
Where were they, and what were they able to do? What were they allowed to do? Which is, over and over and over times when we've looked at it through history, that women were not allowed to do the basic things. That, you couldn't be a doctor for many years as a woman. It doesn't matter how intelligent you were, how educated you were, how experienced you were. No, women can't do that. They're not allowed. Right now, we've
Right.
gotten past that. There are more women in positions of what we would call power,
Right.
Congress even. And but it's only more because before it was zero. Right. So
Right.
we have I can't remember the numbers. I want to see, like 16-17% of women of Congress people are women. Blech. So there's only like 17% that are women.
Right.
That's a tiny amount. Why is that? Are they not qualified? Do we not have qualified women out there that could be members of Congress? Do we not have women that we trust to be in power? A majority of it has always been that men keep them from taking these jobs, keep them from thinking they can have these jobs. And if you want exact, some specific examples, I can find some. But the problem is that it's so systemic that it's not something that you're going to be able to go, oh, well, there, see that guy right there? He was just being sexist. That's some misogyny right there. And that means that he's putting women down and women aren't allowed to have this. I mean, it's just, that's very difficult to point out. You know, it's the same as racism. It's not obvious, and people, no one wants to be accused of being a racist. So they will cover it up and they'll do it, you know, under their breath. And then, you know, so it's much more of a, of, like I said, systemic issue than it is, oh, well, we don't let women be CEOs anymore or at all, you know, or whatever. So it's a much less specific, I think, argument than what you might be looking for.
Sure. Okay. That I get where you're coming from on that then. So I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things where I understand the politic statistic that you put out there. Um and I don't know. I don't know really how to come to terms with that. Like I do, that is a very small number, don't get me wrong. And I don't know how to answer like why is that not the case. I mean, I remember many of females when I was in college who were like poli-sci majors and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, like what did they do, you know, after that? You know, maybe they decided to go into something else, I don't know.
Okay, so I looked up stuff because that's,
yeah,
you know, if we want some numbers.
no, you're fine, man. You're the fact checker guy.
48% of law school graduates and 45% of law firm associates are female, but women only make up 22% of federal level and 26% of state level judgeships. So you have about half of the law school graduates that are female, but only 22% make it to the federal level, 26 make it to the state, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That's not because they're inept. That's not because they're uneducated. That's not because they're not intelligent. I guarantee I shouldn't say any one of them. I'm sure there's maybe one or two that I might be able to handle in a chess match, but I doubt it. But all of them are highly intelligent, highly motivated. But there is a stopping point where people aren't going to let you do it because you don't have a penis. And
yeah.
that's just part of our culture and our system right now. So did you want to talk about feminism in the thought that we're not effeminate people? And I opened up a whole new can of worms.
No, I just wanted to I just wanted to sort of just discuss the topic. It's not something that I typically sit down and have a conversation with, and I don't know if others do or not. But I mean, I feel like, you know, the organization as a whole is definitely an organization that I guess I would put it in the ballpark of, you know, being pro feminism in the fashion of like, we are an organization that looks to, you know, bring equality in. And so I guess for anybody that's in the groups that doesn't understand that, like, then you obviously missed the point of, you know, just the fact that we are a group of dads who also, by the way, have daughters and maybe spouses or partners that are female. And it's like we want to see them get everything that is, you know, due to them, just like anybody else, and equally. And I guess if you have an issue with that, then, you know, like you need to check your own philosophy on life. But yeah, I guess my thing is like, if that doesn't fit your mold, then, you know, there's the door. Honestly, like that's I see conversations all the time.
That's
and
good.
This is one of the reasons that I got out of admitting, was because there are many times where I remember specifically telling people, like, if you don't like it, there's the door. Like, I'm not going to be sad I'm not going to be sad that you leave. Like, but don't come in here and poke the bear and try to start a dumpster fire and think that because you kick the can over that, you know, that's going to rattle everybody's cages, and that also on top of that, that you're going to get to stick around. Because like, that's not the case. Like, none of us, there's no pushovers in this organization. And especially when it comes to online crap, we're not going to put up with it. You know, this is our community. You've come into our home. You want to throw you want to you throw trash, like that's fine, we'll throw you out as trash. Like it's just that simple. Like, and that's my mindset on it, and this is my airspace to be able to just say it honestly. And so, but yeah, I got riled up just from the fashion of like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just anybody that's going to come in and do that, like there's just no place for him in the organization.
It's not, it is a big organization. The Facebook page is big, and we have a vetting process, but it's not much. I mean, we basically just say, are you an at-home dad? And, how old are your kids? Things like that. Just the basics to make sure you're not a bot and make sure that you're not a joint account and things like that. So there, this very, very small amount of rules that you have to follow to join the membership. And at no point do we bring it up that you have to be feminist.
No.
And at no point do we have, that you have to be anything like that. We do expect you to be inclusive. And that's a very broad umbrella of things that it covers. And I scrolled through so I could find it because I didn't want to try to quote myself without mess it up. But I said, if you in the Facebook page, if you are a toxic stereotypical bully, you're in the wrong group.
Yep.
If you're anti-feminist, you're in the wrong group. And this is from previously, someone did this literally. I said, if you use the word pansy as a slur, really anything other than talking about flowers in your garden, you're in the wrong group.
Right.
We are a pro-feminist organization. We are there to be inclusive. And that means men, women, NBs, wherever you fall on the spectrum of what is gender as well. You're welcome if you identify as a dad. It's a dad network, but, really an at-home dad network. But even a lot of the dads have jobs, whatever, but it's a dad network only because of that. But we're not trying to exclude, women or females or whatever word you might want to put on it. But this isn't the group for you.
Right.
That's all. And then in that same vein, if you are not an inclusive person, if you don't practice JDEI and you're not open to
can
people.
You go through JEDI for those who don't know what that acronym is?
Justice, diversity, equality, inclusion.
Okay.
And it really should be JEDI because Jedi is much cooler, but it's not. It's JDEI. I didn't get to make it up. Unfortunately, they didn't ask me. But yeah, if you're not a proponent for justice, diversity, equality, and inclusion, this isn't the group for you. It just isn't, and
yeah, definitely.
Again, feminism is not about sexism. It's not saying women are better than men at all. It's just saying we should all be treated equally, whether we have a penis or not, whether we identify as male or female, wherever you fall, that doesn't mean that you get treated unequally or as lesser.
Also, too, like in bringing up this conversation, I wanted to show too the fact that like even there are some folks like myself who maybe they haven't quite had the conversation. They made a comment or whatever and it didn't go off the right way, and they kept going on with it because that's the way that their thought process was. And one of the things that's really great about the admin team is that you guys do your due diligence to reach out to that person, to have like side conversations with them, to give them the opportunity to explain themselves, for the admin to explain like maybe like the actual right definition of something or whatever.
Most
and then
of the time.
Yeah. But then give them the chance to apologize or decide to leave on their own or whatever. And you guys do a great job of just documenting it too. Like, hey, all right, like you're going to stay. Awesome. No problem. We're going to put in our little notes over here, just what took place, because if something else comes up again, like we already know that like this issue has taken place or whatever it is. And that right there in itself, that is such a unique thing that I don't hear too many communities doing. And so, but it's a safeguard.
And you have to document.
Oh,
you have to document, because again, like you said, if I made a post in someone's group and I used a slur and it was an accident, or I didn't know what I was saying, or there's some reason, a slur's a difficult one to get around, but
Yeah.
let's say I broke one of the rules. Generally, we don't immediately kick someone out. Hey, you read the rules. You said you read the rules before when you joined. You put in your membership that you read the rules. They're right there in the membership. So technically, they're right there for you to read, and you have to scroll past them to click on them. But maybe you didn't pick up on it. So by the way, doing this is against the rules, whatever it might be. And we do document it because you have to put that down, because like, let's say if I did one dumb thing because I didn't know the rule, self-promotion is a great one. If I put a self-promotion post,
or you say something, or you say something that's like it, it's sort of a dick move type of thing, and we've got the rule in there, don't be a dick. Like that's another big one that you see people are like they said something in a heated moment or whatever,
right?
That kind of deal. So yeah.
And the guys, a lot of times they'll come in and they'll apologize.
Yeah.
Most of the guys are very mature about it. They have a very positive, mature response. But in everything, some of the nicest people in our group have at least one strike. It's just something that they did at some point. And then these people follow the rules. They're great. They're part of the community. We know them. We love them. I could say their name and they'd be like, wait, what? Yeah, there's a record of that, just in case it becomes a habit. Self-promotion, like I said a minute ago, is a great example. Because a lot of times guys don't realize we put up the Saturday self-promotion thread, but we don't have to. Well, we put it up on Saturdays so that you can put all your side gig stuff in there. And it's a great idea. It's a great part of the community. And especially around Christmas, if you're expecting to buy a lot of gifts or birthdays, whatever it might be, you can go there every week and say, oh, well, this guy does this. I would like to see about, getting him to do this for me. So it helps the community.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people that are just there to market themselves. And they'll pop out a self-promotion post and the admin team will go in and say, okay, so we're removing this and this is why we're removing it. And by the way, this is when you can put up a self-promotion post. It's got to be in that thread. It's not all day. We don't make self-promotion, Saturday is just one thread. That's all. Because we don't want people doing it all day long. But if they do it again, 6 months later, who remembers? Let's see, Bob. Or I'm going to use your name. I'll use mine a bit better. Danny Mercer. Was that the guy that put up the self-promotion post about that putt golf place he was building or something, whatever it might be with your marketing.
Love it.
If you didn't write it down, we won't, as a team, even most of us won't remember. And people's names can be too similar and we may get two people mixed up. So yeah, we document everything.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we can be sure, one, we're being fair to everyone. But two, make sure that if someone is a habitual rule breaker, if it's even 6 months or a year apart, I'm sorry, we're looking at the lifetime of your membership on the Facebook, on the group page, which is different, of course, from membership of the National At-Home Dad Network, just so you know.
It is
just so everybody knows. It is different. But that particular membership of that page, it's as long as you're there. And if you wait 5 years and do another self-promotion post, okay, it's been 5 years. Maybe you made a mistake. It's wrong. We've talked about it in direct messenger. It's strike two. And don't do it again, because if you do it the third time, you're out. Right. I won't even, some of the guys might do it, but I don't, I don't talk to them on the third one. I don't say, like we've told you twice. I'm not going to tell you 3 times, because at three strikes and you're out,
Yeah.
But also there are some things, just to be totally transparent, some things you do, you're immediately out. We're not going to talk to you. We're not going to, you don't get a word one. You're out. And we don't let people back in generally. We have not a rule, but a guideline that if someone has done this, they're likely going to do it again, especially if they got 3 strikes.
Yeah.
But if you do something horrendous, if you put up a picture of your kid in the bathtub, Facebook is going to just they're going to lose their mind, because you can't do that.
Right.
And then we would get in trouble. So we immediately, no, you're done. If you do that again, you're out. We can't risk the group, because one guy likes to post pictures of his, kid in a bubble bath, or whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, and two, there's even what was it? There was one other kind of like, I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of conversations that take place, and and whatnot. And that's the thing. But yeah, if you, oh, I know what it was. I remember when I was on the admin team, we even, if it was like their first infraction, I remember like going through and doing like a slight deep dive into like their Facebook profile just to see like what they had been posting. And it's like, if what they posted to like start the controversy and what they have in their like on their other Facebook page like matched up, you
Yeah.
knew it, no matter what conversation you had with them, like it was not going to
Yeah.
invert them. So it was just,
This
yeah, I was
is,
like, this is not
yeah,
good. Like
this is
they're
who they are. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
they're showing their true colors all the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the other one too, and I will say this, and this is for anybody that's been in the group long enough to see this, there are from time to time those people who have been in the group, they don't say anything that is so much against the rules, but they will leave a landmine slash grenade sitting, just waiting to basically like pull members out of the weeds to comment on, to sort of try to be that person. Is like, oh, like I'm kind of bored today, so I'm just gonna like post this like controversial thing that I'm not, like I don't have anything against it or anything like that, but I'm gonna post this up here and we'll just see what everybody says, and just
Mm-hmm.
waits to see like where the trolls are, that kind of deal. And that's not that also is not something that gets overlooked in the group at
Mm-hmm.
all by the admin, because that person who posted that is going to receive some retribution from the
Yep.
admin team for their actions for that. So anybody who's thinking like, oh, like I'll be the like soldier that's going to do this, no, don't do that. Just
No.
don't. So but yeah, no, I appreciate the fact that we can have this conversation, because this is something we've never talked about on the show. And with the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we are now in our 99th episode, I was just like, this would be something fresh to just sort of like put out there and just kind of see where it goes. So but yeah, I mean, it is one of those deals where that's what happens from time to time in the groups. And
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. I'm glad that it didn't get too far out of hand. There were a few people I saw that jumped in and had their things to say, but everybody,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, kept a pretty cool, calm, and
And
collective to it, which was the other
that's the
part that was
biggest
good.
part of it. If
Yeah.
we can discuss any subject, there's really that we've never shut down like if you post about some specific, like I will say guns was brought up recently, and someone saying that you know they're a man because they own guns or something to that effect. I apologize, I don't remember the exact of it, but I'm like, you can talk about guns all you want, and gun safety and hunting and all that stuff. Sure, guns, how to keep kids, how to teach kids about guns. We're not against guns at all. But what will happen, and well, I should say what probably will happen, is people that don't like guns or believe that firearms need to be more regulated or what have you, they will also begin commenting. And as long as we're civil about it, it's fine. But it's rarely that you can keep a civil conversation when it comes to firearms. The Second Amendment and firearms are such a huge part of our country, and any conversation around that is going to be, even like if you and I disagreed and we've been friends for a while, we could have a conversation and I think we'd be okay.
Oh, sure.
We wouldn't let our emotions get too involved in it. But most people, and even me with other people, you don't have the ability to keep yourself from getting emotionally involved in that. And when you do, if you start, I mean, this is part of our community rules. If you start name calling, you call somebody a name, I don't care if they said the worst thing in the world. If your response is to name call them, you're going to get dinged too.
Yeah.
Yep. It's against the rules, because it's against the rules. No matter who, if I did it, yeah, Danny gets a ding. That's just how it is.
And that's happened before too. We've had admin who just could not keep their filter in, and you're like, oh,
yeah. Well, because being an admin is so very much about being neutral,
right?
Which is really hard, especially when you're talking about your kids and you're talking about their safety and their health. If you're talking about, I mean, well, I don't know if I should ramble off the four main.
You're fine. You're fine. But also too, like that. Another topic that falls in line with that is alcohol as well. Like I remember there have been conversations where people have talked about like, hey, like me and a group of dads and our kids, we all went out to like the local, pub down the street or something like that. And there have been members who have just like completely disagreed with that scenario, and the conversations that took place, they were cordial for a while, and then they just turned a corner that was just ugly. And it's one of those deals where some people have had very negative, um, situations with it, and they don't see it as being something that should be done, especially with kids around and whatnot. And
well, even movies. I mean, there are movies that I know I've let my children watch at an age that other parents would be appalled that but the problem is I'm me and they're them,
right?
First. And my child is my child and your child is your child. And you can't say, I mean, I'm sure there are some absolutes in this, but realistically, if I want to let my kids watch Star Wars when they're 2, what does it matter? Right. But and that's a bad example of Star Wars, but I'm not going to name any bad movies, but there are parents who will get upset at that and say, how could you do this? How could you, how could you have a beer in the middle of the day? Your kids need you and you're not able, you're going to, it loses your faculties. What if you have to drive them to the emergency room? What's going on? And that just escalates, and the issue comes into that I'm not telling you facts any longer. I'm right about this thing, and that makes you wrong about this thing. So I'm going to heap insults on you as a horrible parent because you did this thing that I would never have done.
Yeah. When you get to the point in a conversation where you are done with being on the same level talking and just, going back and forth, and you get to that point where you get on top of your hill and you're going to die on that hill, and not listen. You're going to go completely like deaf to anything that's been said, and you're just in battle mode. That's the point where if you hit that point, I'm going to tell anybody that's listening, if you hit that point, you should probably just seriously close your computer, set your phone down, walk away. Because even though like you are riled up and you really want to like go after this person, like there is not the place. That's not the place to do it. Like it's just not.
You can't change someone's belief.
No,
there's no way that you can assault or assail their belief. It will stay where it's at no matter what you tell them, no matter what facts you bring into it. And I use the air quotes on facts there, because a lot of it is an empirical science fact. It's
right.
It's just what your anecdotal experience has been that this is what happens when whatever. Cool. But that's not the way my kid acts or reacts. Now, there is a point, of course, where science steps in. And if you're telling us this is what scientists have discovered, that's a different conversation. But if you're just saying, well, I was always taught that if a dog bites a chicken, it's got the taste of blood in its mouth and it'll never stop killing chickens. So you got to put that dog down. Okay, that's anecdotal experience, which may or may not be true. And there's no science behind it. There's no facts, therefore, behind it. So It's just kind of what you feel. It's what you think, but not what you know, or not what, the world knows. Right. So it's just, and it's hard because these are your beliefs.
Yeah. And
you hold them precious. They're like little children. It's really, I have my beliefs and I love them. And to have someone assault your beliefs is just, it gets everybody upset. Yeah. And that's kind of where we were with this guy with the feminism post.
Yeah.
But I will say it straight out. The National At-Home Dad Network is a pro-feminist organization, but we're not a bunch of quote unquote, well, I'm not going to say that word. We're not a bunch of wimps or effeminate people. We're not a bunch of anything you name, because we're so many individuals. If you name something, one of us is probably was going to meet that label. It's just a group of people. So
I was gonna say, I know many dads in our organization who are both like very much have a strong nurturing feminine side, and on the other side can rip your head off.
Ooh, nurturing feminine side. Brock.
What?
Nurturing is not feminine.
Okay, sorry. Like I said, still working on vocabulary words.
A nurturing, caring side. Yeah.
Nurturing, caring
And
side. They're
they're,
fine. See,
we
I'm
have
telling you.
dads. Yeah, you're learning. You're learning.
It's all good. Hey, everybody gets to see it. It's all out there in the open. So,
Well,
I'd rather, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. It's being proudly ignorant that is the problem. If you're saying, "No, I know that. I ain't gonna learn nothing else. I didn't need to go to college." Yeah, you did.
No. Yeah, no, I am.
You're missing some key
points. Always a student. Always a student. If I say something incorrectly, like I just did.
And think about how our language has changed over the last 10, 20 years.
Right.
The things that we talk about now. I mean, I've got on we're on a Zoom call together. So, we're video recording this. So, but people that could see this, if you go to YouTube and watch the video, we have our pronouns beside our name.
Well,
that's something that, I thought yours was too. Okay.
I don't.
Some of us, sorry, B, I didn't mean it, man.
You're good.
But that's something that we do. Maybe not all of us do, but we'll go to people and say, "Hi, my name is Danny. My pronouns are he and him." And it's a part of what our culture is becoming, so that people know how to talk to us in a way that leaves us in our comfortable place, and that's such a huge difference from, I screw it up, and my son's transgender. And I still make mistakes, right? So it is that, but it's that willingness to change, willingness to grow, the willingness to learn, and then not step on other people who disagree with you. So
well said. And I think that this is a topic that, honestly, with it coming to the end of the year and a new year starting, for anybody who's looking for, like, what's that thing that I need to, like, turn the page on and make better, I think everybody can see that, that element of looking at everyone equally, or, showing respect, or, like you were talking about, when, just when you're around people and you're using pronouns and things like that, and just like showing that respect, like, I see you for who you are, kind of deal. Those are all great things to put into your daily routine of how to basically go about life in a way that's going to show that you care for other people, and that that you're not out to, I don't know, be somebody that's going to put them down in any kind of way. So
don't be a dick. Be kind. Just be kind.
Yeah. So true. But I don't really have much else to go on with this conversation. I feel like we've touched quite a bit, and like I said, was this something that was just sitting heavy on me after I saw that, and I was like, you know what? Like, we haven't had a topical conversation in a while, and I was like, I figured that this was something we could definitely dive into.
Well, I do want to say one more thing, because I know we're out of time, but it is now 0 degrees, and just want to make that clear before we move on. If I don't make it through the week, I love you all, and I hope you make wonderful choices and become happy people, because oh my God, it's going to get cold this week.
Somebody pissed Jack Frost off up north.
Definitely.
Oh man, but yeah. So we'll see everybody next week, where we'll actually be recording
next year. You missed the dad joke. See you guys next year. Oh,
you guys next. Boom. We're getting there. I was getting there. But we'll have our 100th episode up, so hopefully we'll have some fun surprises to just talk about and whatnot. And
I'm getting like some noisemakers and stuff. We're gonna do some horn or whatever, a kazoo. I've been looking for a kazoo, can't find one. Bad evening.
Get a recorder. No, I'm just kidding.
Those are the worst. Yeah. Do you know someone has kids? Do you hate that person?
Yeah. Do you hate that person?
A recorder.
That is the stocking stuffer that keeps on giving. Right
forever.
That's what that is. Forever.
All right, man.
Alla Kamiki Laka. I don't know how you say that. What is that? The Italian or the Hawaiian? Yeah, the Hawaiian way to say Merry Christmas to you.
No.
You don't know that song?
Malakaliki.
Malakaliki Maka is the Hawaiian way.
I thought it meant I love you.
No, It's from a Christmas song. Yeah, it's from a National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
Well, who grew up not celebrating Christmas and doesn't know these things? That'd be me.
It's true.
So,
Forgot.
I don't have the history. I do know Feliz Navidad. That's an easy one.
Well, there you go.
Prospero Años. Yeah.
Now we've just gotten into the extra bits of things for the show. So at this point, but hey, we'll see y'all next year. So
that's right. Yay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.